Hello and welcome. As I told you in my earlier video that today's topic will be our urogenital triangle. So the boundary of this urogenital triangle is basically anteriorly lower margin of the symphysis pubis along with the arcuate pubic ligament. Posteriorly an imaginary line connecting both ischial tuberosity. Okay, and each side you are getting the lateral margin or the margin of the ischiopubic rami. Now we are getting lots of structure in this urogenital triangle, starting from the below to above. First of all skin, then superficial fat layer, then fascia of Colles, then contents of superficial perineal pouch, then inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm, which is also known as perineal membrane, then contents of deep perineal pouch, and then superficial fibrous sheet connects or stretches the entire pubic arch and forms the lower boundary of urogenital triangle. Now the upper surface of this Colles fascia, it blends with the bulbospongious muscles raphe, and for this reason it creates superficial perineal pouch and deep perineal pouch. Well, I will talk about this too later, just wait. On each side it is connected with the lower part of the lower margin of the ischiopubic ramus or ischiopubic rami, okay, and posteriorly it blends with the perineal membrane along with the transverse perineae superficialis. Now the structures piercing this Colles fascia, you are getting perineal branch of posterior femoral cutaneous nerve, and in female you are getting urethra along with vagina. That's it. Next is our superficial perineal pouch. The boundary of this is found by the superiorly perineal membrane, inferiorly Colles fascia. On each side, laterally, you are getting ischiopubic ramus and posteriorly transverse perineae superficialis. Now the contents of this superficial perineal pouch, first of all you are getting three muscle, bulbospongious, ischiocavernosus and transverse perineae superficialis, along with one nerve which is perineal nerve. This perineal nerve supplies all these three muscles. Additionally, in male you are getting the base of the penis, or you can say crus of the penis, and in female you are getting crus of the clitoris or base of the clitoris, along with the spongy urethra in male, and also you are getting bulbourethral glands. In female you are getting vagina and vestibular glands. And next we are getting perineal membrane. It is also known as inferior fascia of urogenital diaphragm. It's a basically triangular strong fibrous sheet. It is bounded by on each side internal surface or interior surface of the ischiopubic rami, along with the anteriorly you are going to find transverse perineal ligament, superior fascia of urogenital diaphragm and sphincter urethrae muscles. Posteriorly you are getting perineal body in the midline along with the transverse perineal superficialis and the transverse perineal profundus. So try to understand one thing. This is a triangular arch, okay? Suppose this is a triangular arch and it is a perineal membrane. Now what are the structures piercing this membrane? You have to know about this. At the base you are getting scrotal vessels and nerves in male, labial vessels and nerves in female, okay? Now at the midline of this margin, in this margin, deep artery to the penis or deep artery to the clitoris, okay? At the margin near the apex, it is pierced by deep artery to the penis or deep artery to the clitoris. And in the midline you are getting urethra, then bulbourethral glands and the artery to the bulb of the penis in male, and in female you are directly getting vagina and urethra. That's it. Next is our deep perineal pouch. It is bounded by the superiorly superficial fascia of urogenital diaphragm, inferiorly by the perineal membrane, anteriorly transverse perineal ligament, posteriorly fusion point of the perineal membrane and the superficial fascia of the diaphragm, and on each side same to same internal surface of the ischiopubic rami. Now the contents of this deep perineal pouch, you are getting sphincter urethrae muscle, then transverse perineae profundus muscle, internal pudendal artery, dorsal nerve to the root of the penis or to the root of the clitoris, bulbourethral glands and ducts in male, and in female vagina urethra. That's it. And next is our superficial fascia of urogenital diaphragm. It is bounded by the on each side same to same. Internal surface of the ischioepigrammi. Anteriorly it blends with the perineal membrane, and posteriorly it is bounded by the deep perineal pouch, and in the middle you are getting urethra, and it blends with the inferior fascia of the pelvic diaphragm. That's it. And now the urogenital diaphragm. So it's basically a muscular fascial partition which separates the pelvic cavity from the anterior part of the pelvic outlet. Okay, it consists of two muscles, sphincter urethri and transverse perineum profundus, along with its superior and inferior fascia. Now, what are the structures piercing this urogenital diaphragm? Urethra in male and female, and additionally vagina in female. What is the relation of this urogenital diaphragm? Inferiorly you are getting contents of superficial perineal pouch. Superiorly you are getting apex of prostate in male and the neck of the urinary bladder in female, along with the anterior fibers of both sided libido ani muscle and anterior recesses of ischiorectal fossa. Ischiorectal fossa I told you in my earlier video. Okay, anteriorly arcuate pubic ligament, along with the transverse perineal ligament, deep dorsal vein to penis or deep dorsal vein to clitoris, and posteriorly you are getting ischiorectal fossa and its contents. Okay, now the function of this urogenital diaphragm, it supports the prostate in male and it supports the bladder, urinary bladder in female. Secondly, it fixes the perineal body, and thirdly, it controls the micturition because it has sphincter urethral muscle. Fourthly, it is very important, this urogenital diaphragm constricts the vagina in menstrual period or in sexual intercourse. Okay, what are the mechanisms? These things in details I will talk about in physiology chapter, not here. This is all about our urogenital triangle. I hope you understand a little bit, and see you soon. Till then, bye.